Sanitized?
Yeah, those are sanitized and clean. Yeah.
I just kidding. Okay.
We like clean it
Every
yeah,
night.
every night. Yeah,
Yeah.
even when we don't have guests, we clean it on
We
the
clean these like we clean the Sobrites, Willie.
My God, you can't even do it. So
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I got a lot to learn.
it's the most basic thing out there.
I can't figure it out. There's a lot I need to learn.
It's
Hey,
okay. You'll get there, Seth.
Yeah.
life is about
It's a
learning,
learning
experience,
experience.
right?
It is. It is.
What's a learning experience you've had so far in life?
Yeah, I'm always learning. I mean, every day you learn how just to be better, you know? I mean, better at, being a husband, being a father. I just had a baby, so
Congrats.
learning. Thank you. 2.5 months ago. Learning just how to,
You're just starting then.
yeah. So I'm just starting and I'm learning,
Yeah.
getting advice from people, but also just day by day figuring out how do we do this,
Yeah.
coming home from work and kind of what's my role and how do I get better at my role. It's always changing as he gets older too.
Yeah, you
It's
gotta
like,
adjust,
yeah,
Yeah.
my wife does all the hard work. I can't complain. People are like, are you sleeping? I'm like, yeah, but my job's she does all the heavy lifting with feeding, and I just try to change the diaper,
Yeah.
be a
for
good
sure.
diaper changer,
Yeah.
and just help out when I can. Bath time is really important.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can make it home in time for bath time. It's about 8:00.
We'll try to keep you.
Nah, it's fine if we don't. I told my wife I might be a little late tonight.
Okay.
But yeah, just learn. It's a lot of. I've had a lot of learning experiences, for sure. But that's kind of the current one right now that
Yeah.
The most
I'm dealing with.
relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being a dad.
And that's
So.
a huge step in life. So.
It is. Yeah, it's a big one for me. It's super important. I grew up without a dad. My dad died when I was 6.
Mm.
So when I found out I was having a son, it really hit me. It was like, I take it serious because it's something I want to give. Not that my dad died. It's not like my dad wasn't around or something.
Yeah,
It's not-
yeah.
But it's like, it's an opportunity for me to do something that I didn't really get.
Yeah. For sure.
For most of my life. He died when I was 6. So, I'm super excited about being a dad.
Yeah, just giving him a different experience you didn't have, basically.
Yeah, and I don't, I can't predict how long I'm gonna live or anything like that, but I know as long as I am living that I'm gonna take that role very serious.
Right, yeah.
Not lightly. I want to be the best dad I can be, and that's partly why, choices I've made with career and coming back home. And we can get into all that if y'all want, but I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can, to provide for my family.
That's so cool because, like, I don't know if you remember this. It's kind of like coming almost like full circle to me. Although it's like I'm still single, not a dad, but like, but
We'll get there.
yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
But like, we had a friend. I don't know if you, Bree.
Yeah,
If you know her or not.
from Splash.
Yeah. And she was just saying, like, our happiest days are, like, yet to come. Like, whenever you're, like, get to see your kid grow up. Whenever you get to see your newborn being born and all that stuff. And, like, I always, like, kept that in the back of my head. But now, like, seeing you, how you're talking about your son and how proud you are. And how serious you are taking this role and all this memories you want to create for your kids. That's just, like, it's good to know, I guess, for everyone in here that our happiest days are yet to come,
For sure. I think that it's like, that's one of the most, when you look back on your life one day, it's like, what really mattered? Did I work all these hours and I have a good job or was I a good father? It's way more important, be a good father, leaving a legacy, that's something that's important, to me.
Absolutely.
Be a good husband, be a good father. The rest of the stuff is pretty minor, I think. Just be a good person. But, like, as far as other things, I want to do great at everything I do, but those are definitely the top ones for me.
Yeah, your priorities.
Yeah. So
All right, before we get into it, guys, I'm gonna do the intro real quick.
you got it.
Got it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wall Friends podcast, where we hang out and talk to your friends and ask them what inspires them, what scares them, and more. With you, your two hosts, William
And George.
and today we got my boy Seth. And man,
Man, I've been good, working and being a dad and working, it's been good.
Yo, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us.
Absolutely.
I'm already excited for it. I feel like it's gonna be a good episode.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Of
No,
course, dude.
I'm not sure why I deserve this, but I
Hey
appreciate
man,
the
everyone
invite.
has a story, so I
Yeah.
mean, there's
Yeah.
something we can learn from it,
For sure. I think you guys have a great idea here, Wall of Friends.
Appreciate
It's
it.
cool. You got a cool look here on the wall, the pictures. I support the podcast industry, so I think you guys got something cool going.
Well, I appreciate you, just coming here. I think, if anything, like you were saying earlier, at the end of the day, what does it matter? We work so hard and do this and da da da. Yeah. I've like every time like a friend tells me like, "Hey, I listen to your podcast. I really like it." It just gives me like the biggest rush of dopamine. Like nothing. Like it just puts a big smile on my face. And
Yeah.
like the fact that you take your time to come out here and do that, and everyone else who take the time and come in here and do share their story means a lot, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think highly of Willie, working with Willie, and he told me about the podcast, and I thought that's cool. I think anybody that starts their own podcast and has that, initiative and that drive, I think that's awesome, starting your own thing. And so I'm happy to support, definitely happy to come on. I don't know how many views this one will get because, whenever they see my name, my face. I used to say I have a face for radio. That's what I would say when I worked in radio. But, hey, I'm happy to be on here. So appreciate
We're
you guys.
happy you're here, man.
Yeah.
So take us back to little Seth, your childhood. How was it like?
Little Seth. My mom would call me Sethy, when I was a
Sethy?
childhood. So to take you back to Sethy. Well, I was born here in Little Rock, beautiful, the city of roses. Believe it or not, people do say that, the city of roses. People think that's Portland, but it's actually Little Rock. So I was born in Little Rock, born and raised here. Grew up with 3 older brothers. I have 3 older brothers, youngest of 4. Mom and dad, raised me, and like I was telling you guys earlier, dad passed away when I was 6. So really, my mom raised me.
Yeah. How was that like?
It was hard. My mom basically raised 4 boys on her own. She got remarried when I was like 11. So I had a stepfather. He was a good guy. Is a good guy. They're actually not married anymore, but I don't know if necessarily I'd call him a father figure. He's more just kind of a buddy, a good friend, and he supported us. But as far as who raised me, my mom raised me, and raised me and my brothers, and it was tough on her. She worked, single mom, working 4 boys. I don't know how she did it. God bless her. I don't know how anybody does that. So I have a lot of respect for my mom. It's like I said, I don't know how anybody does it. But, grew up, had a great childhood, man. Growing up playing sports, very active with my brothers. I feel like I am somewhat tough because of being the youngest of 4. I feel like they kind of beat up on me. They probably wouldn't agree with that. They probably say that he always, went to mom if there was ever a problem. But I would say it's pretty tough, and I handle things pretty well with them. And so, childhood was good. Growing up, went to a good school. My mom worked really hard to send us to a good school. She worked at the school so we could go, to a private school in Little Rock. I was very, very fortunate for that. I think I don't really know how we afforded it, but somehow we did.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, she worked there, and that helped. And I think we had money from when my dad, you know, passed away, and you know, I think she used that to make sure we could go to a good school. We weren't rich by any means. My dad sold insurance, you know, sold life insurance. Very, very middle class, I would say. Mom was a nurse. Dad sold insurance. I'd say grew up fairly humble. Most people probably don't think that when they think private school kid, you know.
Yeah.
Little Rock Christian, you know, have a reputation, especially now. Bunch of rich kids go there, you know. That PA and Little Rock Christian, bunch of rich kids. It's not really the case, you know. I think there is a lot of wealth, but every situation's different. And there's some people that are there on, you know, scholarships, or some people are just barely getting by. You know, like I said, some people's parents work at the school to give them a discount or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I grew up at that school, 1st through 12th grade. And that place taught me a lot. It was good. You know, a lot of people complain about it. I loved it. Involved, you know, in activities, sports mainly. And, you know, sports are a big part of my life. I started you know, I played sports all through high school. Worked in college athletics as a student, and then after college as well, and then was a teacher and coach. You know, I always wanted to be a coach, so that's why you know, I got into coaching. You know, because of my experience playing and my experience with coaches. So I got into coaching after college. Went to college at University of Arkansas.
Go Hogs, right?
What's that?
Go Hogs.
Go Hogs, man. We're finally having a good football
know.
season. Feels good.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah.
After like 10 years, feels like.
It's been a painful.
It's been a long way.
Yeah, it's been a painful little stretch here.
Yeah.
But we're coming back. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question about growing up. I think that was a long-winded answer.
No, you did. What made you, like, I know you say you like sports and all, get into coaching, but like now you're not a coach. What made you get out of coaching?
Well, so a few different things. I mean, so when I graduated college, I actually worked in sports radio for a little over a year. It was my first job. I worked for Bo Mattingly, who was on the Buzz, but he was like his own deal. It's called Sports Talk with Bo Mattingly.
Okay, yeah.
I did an internship there in college, and then when I graduated, he gave me a job, which was awesome. It was my first job, and I was making $15,000 a year. And I thought I was really rich. I thought I'd made it, and I spent every dime of it, and which didn't take long, but it was great, and but it just wasn't. It wasn't really my. I wanted to coach, but he gave me that opportunity, so I just took it, and I was having fun with it. It was a lot of fun talking about sports, and but after a year, I told him I want to go coach, and I found a coaching job, got my master's in teaching, so I went and found a teaching and coaching job at a high school in Rogers, Arkansas, called Providence Academy, small little private school up there, and they gave me an opportunity. A guy named Austin Bivens. Yeah, hopefully he listens to this because I'm going to give him this shout out. He gave me an opportunity to coach. I had zero experience, but he let me coach baseball as the head junior high baseball coach, which is actually a thing, believe it or not, junior high baseball. It is at that school at least. And they do it in Oklahoma. So we played a lot of Oklahoma schools, but did that in basketball. And they didn't have football, small school. And so I coached there for 4 years. I was able to kind of progress. They gave me more responsibilities. I eventually became a head coach there, became an assistant athletic director there my last 2 years. And I was loving it. And then, so after 4 years there, I just wasn't sure. I knew I needed to kind of probably make a move. It was the school was growing, and then it just kind of hit a wall a little bit. And I didn't really trust the administration anymore, and just the direction of the school. Just kind of tanked. So I got out, and I found an opportunity at at the University of Miami in college football.
How'd you find that opportunity?
Yeah,
of-
that's
out
an-
of all
Yeah.
things?
Yeah, that's an interesting.
It is.
That's a switch of pace if I've ever seen
Very
one.
switch of pace. I was looking, like I said, I was looking for a job. I was looking for another coaching job, or, my goal was always to get to the college level.
Yeah.
And I saw an opportunity at Miami through a friend. My best friend, who's the best man at my wedding, was a coach down there. Was a quality control coach, which is kind of an entry. They have GAs, graduate assistants, and they have quality control people, and then full-time coaches, right? And he was a quality control analyst, is what his technical term is, but basically a coach.
Yeah.
So he was down there. He had just gotten a job there, and he was, we were always talking. We talk, at least once a week, and he was telling me there was going to be an opportunity to open up in the football operations department, which isn't necessarily coaching, but it gets you
Get your foot in the door.
Step
get your-
closer
it
to
gets-
getting
it gets your foot in the door, and
Yeah.
it's at that time I was thinking this could lead me to a role in the athletic department, to where at that time I was thinking, how do I can get to the college level and maybe not coach in the college level, but become an athletic director. And I saw that as an opportunity to get my foot in the door and to see where it would take me.
Right.
Obviously I wouldn't think I'd be an athletic director in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but just to get started on
Yeah,
that
Get
path.
your feet wet at least,
Get my feet wet.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to break into the college athletics. It's so competitive. Everybody wants those jobs, right? It's, a ton of people that apply for college athletic positions at that level.
Especially Miami,
Yeah, especially Miami too. Yeah, I mean Division I college football. It's very competitive.
Yeah.
Those jobs, and so I took. He helped me kind of make a connection there with the director of football ops. I applied, and he was kind of able to kind of fast track my resume to his
Right,
desk,
yeah.
and did a phone interview with them, and they gave me a position, very entry level position. I didn't make any money. They gave me a little bit of money for working camps and stuff, but it's not like I was on salary or even paid hourly.
Oh wow, it's just kind of like a stipend thing.
Yeah, barely even that. It was here's some money every now and then, but it was not much. But I was willing to do it because
That's
like
what
I
you
said,
wanted to do.
Yeah, I said, it's what I wanted to do, and I was chasing the dream.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That was the dream. Be a college athletic director, and work at that level. And so, I took it. I took a massive pay cut. Not that I was making a ton of money at the high school, but I took a pay cut. And, fortunately my wife, who has a great job, has a great career, a lot more stable than mine at the time, we were able to kind of make it work, financially. So, we talked about it and said, let's do this. It was a big leap of faith for us to move down to Miami. Going to just moving to Miami is a big leap of faith.
Of all places, Miami.
Yeah, but anywhere in America, that's probably the most different place that there is.
Yeah, because at that point, it's like I've heard it's not even like you don't feel like you're in America.
You don't.
You feel like you're in a different part of the.
Especially when you go from Arkansas to Miami.
Yeah, I bet that was a massive culture shock.
Big time culture shock. It's like
oh yeah, puppy. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. No, it's like it's South America essentially.
Yeah.
It's you could basically just be in Brazil or Colombia, and it feels the same. It was a lot of fun though. We loved it, but it took I kind of took some convincing on my end to convince my wife, but she was down. We wanted to kind of have an adventure. We'd always lived in Arkansas. At least for me, I had never left the state. My wife grew up a little bit in Colorado and Texas, but I had never. Arkansas was all I knew.
Yeah.
Little Rock and Fayetteville, and so I said, let's do this, and it was a leap of faith, and so we moved down to Miami in 2019. I worked at the university for about 15 months. And this was, the tail end of it was during when COVID happened and all that, and it was a really good experience. Except I told myself I would do it for a year, And then if an opportunity didn't like present itself in a more full-time position
Yeah.
with a little more money and things like that, that I'd have to move on. I couldn't do that to my wife to
Right.
more than a year of just not making barely, any money at all. I needed to
Right.
support my family. So I did it for as long as I could without making money, and don't have any regrets about leaving. I left and, COVID happened. They went on a hiring freeze, so that didn't help. They weren't, at the time where I was hoping I could fill a position there, that they weren't filling any positions. In fact, they were cutting people. People were getting laid off.
Yeah.
And people's checks were getting cut, and it was just a horrible time to be looking for a job.
Exactly.
To be looking for that step up. And so I left. Long story short, I left to go to I took a head coaching position at high school down there, which I'm very blessed and very fortunate that I found that in August. Which is not a time you really find a head coaching job. But I found one at a school in West Palm Beach, Florida, and I did that for about a year, and I was head varsity girls basketball coach, which is a whole other story. And
How was that?
that was a challenge, one of the most challenging years of my life this past year.
You can find him on Max Prep. Just saying.
Unfortunately, you can find my record. Our record and those scores on Max Preps. We were not good. Number
Looks
one.
like it was a lot of learning experience.
Yeah, it was. It was my first time to coach girls,
Yeah.
and that's a whole different game, coaching young ladies. I thought I was going to really enjoy it, and there's aspects that I did enjoy. I'd always coached guys, and
Yeah.
and being around college football too. It's going from being around college football players to high school girls was different. You have to change your approach a little bit, with how you communicate with them, right? You can't say the same things.
No, absolutely not.
They're, girls are just a little more sensitive, I guess, I mean,
just kind of the way that we're created,
Yeah, it's just the way we're wired. We're wired, girls and boys are wired differently, contrary to some beliefs out there, but they are. Girls and boys are different. I don't care what you say, they're different, and you have to learn how to communicate with them, and that was a learning experience for me. So that was interesting, and on top of that, we just weren't very good.
Yeah, that didn't make it much fun.
We were bad, and and they knew that, and a lot of.
They knew that.
They did, and so
self-awareness.
Expectations were low.
So even whenever you got there, they were like, "Hey, listen, coach."
Yeah, they were like, "We're not very good. We're gonna get blown out every game." I'm like, ladies, we can't think like that. Our comment, and
come on, ladies.
It's funny because they were really good. Like 2 years before I got there, they won the whole state. They won the state championship. But all those girls were gone except for like one of them.
You were like rebuilding, basically.
Yeah, it was a rebuilding job, very much so. We were young. I started 3 freshmen. We had 6 freshmen and a sophomore and 2 juniors and 3 seniors or something like that. And I felt like we got better as the year went on, but it wasn't pretty. It was hard. Yeah. It's hard to sit there on the sideline when you're just getting drilled. Yeah, it was a learning experience for me. Something I was used to winning at that small school up in Rogers. We were very good at but
we dominated.
We were good. Our competition wasn't great, but we were good, and I was used to being on the winning end of things. And so you go from that to just getting drilled by 50 almost every night. It is hard. It'll humble you for sure.
Yeah.
So but that was interesting. So I did that for a year. Coached golf as well. That was the fun part about it. The girls' basketball part was tough, but golf was fun, especially down there. A lot of beautiful courses and stuff I got to see. And then after that, to answer your question, I'm pretty long-winded here. I got out of that.
You good?
Dude, you're perfect for a podcast.
I can talk. I got out of that just recently. That was last year. And my wife got pregnant in October of 2020, and we had to kind of make a decision. Are we going to stay in Florida, or are we going to move back home where our family is? And
was there another state y'all thought about moving to?
No, we loved it in Florida.
Yeah.
And so it was either let's stay here and kind of put some roots down here in South Florida, or
Move back home.
move back home. And I loved Arkansas. We always thought we would move back to Arkansas eventually, but we could have done a few more years in Florida because we really enjoyed it.
I mean, people go to vacation in Florida.
I know, and we lived, where people vacation, right?
Yeah.
It was fun, and it was different for us, and we were really enjoying it, and we almost stayed. But just thought, first baby, we don't know what we're doing. We could probably figure it out, but man, it would be a whole lot easier with some
Some
help,
help back
yeah.
home.
with some
yeah.
help, some grandparents, and her parents were actually in Denver, and as soon as we told them we were pregnant, they put their house on the market and they moved.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow,
they-
that's awesome.
Yeah, they moved to Little Rock. Moved before we got here, and so that's been nice. Her mom helps with the baby and stuff like that. But I got out of coaching because, when I went back to coach at high school and I left the college scene, I thought, I'm probably not gonna go back to the college scene. Because it's just working at that level. One thing I learned in that experience at Miami was you just don't have a life. It's a grind. It's 90, 100-hour weeks, especially during the season.
Yeah.
Is it worth the pay? No, especially at the beginning. Is it rewarding? Yeah, some aspects are, but those guys and gals that work at that level, they sacrifice a lot. Their family lives are sacrificed for sure. Just personal life is just not. There's just not much there. It's just your work kind of just consumes you, and it's fun, and people do it for a reason, and they're good at it. But I couldn't see myself doing it for another 40 years. I just thought this is gonna wear me down, and I'm just
Thought
not
it might have taken a toll on you.
taking a toll on me. Not be able to, like we said, be able to provide for my family in a way.
Yeah.
Maybe financially eventually one day, hopefully. But
Not
just
the
being
quality
there.
Time.
Quality time was just not going to be there. Quality of life is just not there for those people. It's just not, especially college football. It's just crazy. I didn't want that life, and then but with high school, I just thought you're just limited. Being a high school teacher and coach, and I have a lot of respect for high school teachers and coaches. Obviously, I did it. I lived it. I think it's a great job. I just thought long term for me to provide financially, but also I just felt restricted with what you can do. It just gets the classroom. I didn't love the classroom. I coached or I taught because I wanted to coach, right?
Right.
What you teach?
Were you
Just
not a
kind of the
PE
dirty.
teacher?
I was a PE. I did PE and history.
Of course, he was a history teacher.
Yeah, stereotypical coach. It's the classroom just wore on me, man. It's just I don't know. I hated grading, and it's just this day and age too. Like kids and parents, like they just take you for granted. They just I don't know. I was tired of dealing with the drama of parents being on your case all the time, and people can just burn your reputation, right?
Yeah.
They record what you say, or not that this happened to me. I just know that it's out there. It's just I just didn't want to live in that world. It wasn't worth it to me. I just thought I could do more. I felt a little restricted. You just feel like there's only so much you can do in that space. So I wanted to try something else, and before I could even look for a job in Arkansas, I ran into Griffin, who is the director of operations at Splash. I ran into him at a wedding in Miami, like in April, and he was telling me about what was going on at Splash, and basically said, we're about to grow the company, and we need people. So I saw that as a great opportunity, and so I before I could even look for a job here, that one kind of just presented itself. Yeah. And so here I am now. And it's been good. I don't have any regrets really about leaving coaching. not yet, at least. But I think I've made the right decision. I think there's more potential. I can basically I'd sum it up like this: the reason I got into coaching, being a leader, was something I wanted to do, and I thought, I can do all these things. When Griffin approached me about Splash, I thought, you know what, I can do all the same things that the reasons I wanted to get into coaching. I can do all those same things in business or in any job, or in a lot of jobs, and I can do it. I knew I could do it at Splash in the position that Griffin was willing to offer, and he sold me on it too. And Griffin's a salesman. He sold me on working at a car wash, which it's way, and Willie knows, it's way more than what it appears to be.
What
Right,
people
yeah.
think it is.
Right,
It's,
and we're
Hey
breaking
Griffin, if
the
you're
mo-
listening, maybe we should have you on the pod one
It's
of
time
those
for
days.
Griffin.
it's time for Griffin to get
Y'all
on
need
here.
to get Griffin on here. He would be
Like
good.
he's like, I haven't met this guy, but every time everyone brings up Griffin,
They do, yeah. I mean, Griffin's he's a real deal now. So he convinced me, and I haven't missed coaching because I feel like I'm kind of still in that mode, in that coaching mode a little bit. Where now it's more, it's 16 to 21-year-olds for the most part that work at Splash. And so I'm very familiar with working with people in that age group, and it's teaching them, how to be professional, trying to grow them professionally and personally. And, I'm working at it. I love it. That's why I could see myself being at Splash for a long time, because I'm doing the same things I used to do, but it's just not, there's no ball and there's no basket, there's no,
You're applying the same the same methods, but just at a different
way.
yeah, it's just a different scene, it's a different atmosphere, but the rewarding part of it is still there for me. I never wanted to, I've always been someone who, I gotta love what I do. There's some people that they just will do a job because it pays well, and it's just a kind of a job to them. That's never been me, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's different with how they approach, a job or career. But for me, I've always wanted to, be passionate about it, be passionate about what I do, and kind of go home every night thinking, I'm making an impact, and so far, at Splash, I feel like, I don't know if I've made an impact, but I know that the potential is there to do that.
Yeah.
And I see it as a very rewarding job for me, and there's just more potential that goes along with being, working for a business as opposed to like in a school. Education kind of can only go so far with that, and so I'm enjoying it. It's been good.
Yeah, it seems like you like to impact other people's life, whether it's like young kids, well, I guess early in your career, or now at Splash, you're just impacting kids maybe at a different, or adults at a different age of their lives.
Yeah.
And not only that, I'm sure with clients, you eventually get to build that client relationship and
Right.
get to know them a little bit better, get to even have coffee, every once in a while. I know Willie has the chance, or we had the chance to bring one of Splash clients to our podcast. Because if it wasn't for Splash, wouldn't have got the chance to know that Bradley.
Right.
Shout out to Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are just talking about Bradley. Yeah, customer at Splash. Yeah, that's the other cool thing. Adults kind of come into the picture now too. It's not just working with kids. You got customers, which is fun. You're just working with all different types of people now, and that's fun too. So I love that. It is way more than I thought it could be, and people just probably won't ever really understand that unless they work in that setting. It takes a little humility to say, hey, I work at the car wash. Well, it's a little more than that.
You can say you work at the number one car wash in Arkansas.
We are the number one, and we're only getting better. We're about to take over.
Oh yeah.
It's an exciting time to be at Splash. So it's been great. It's been a little over 3 months at Splash. So I still am learning, but
How was that readjusting coming back from like Miami back to Arkansas? How was that?
It was. I have a little bit of FOMO still, especially when it's like today. It's like cloudy and misty and overcast. It's like kind of depressing because I know in Miami it's like sunny and 80 degrees. People are at the beach. I'm like, oh man, I miss that. I miss the sun. And it's about to get real cold here, and I'm gonna really miss it. But it's not that.
Love it. I'm gonna love it.
Some people like the cold, and I think I used to, but then
Then I went to Miami.
I went to Miami, and I thought I don't ever miss the
changed
cold
my
anymore.
mind.
When you're sitting at the pool in December, you're like,
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I don't really wish I was, sitting in 30-degree weather in Arkansas where it's raining and cold.
It doesn't even snow.
Well,
that sucks.
yeah, it's like pelting. What's it called? Sleet. It's like sleeting, and it's just miserable. But no, it's not that hard because I lived here, and I grew up here, and I love Arkansas. Never really even wanted to leave until the opportunity kind of presented itself to go to Miami. I just thought I'd stay here forever, and Arkansas is a beautiful place, and people don't realize that. It's the natural state, man, and it's a hidden gem.
Yeah, for sure.
People don't get that. And like talking to people down in South Florida about it, they're like, "Can't believe you're moving." When I told people I was moving, "Can't believe you're moving. Why are you moving to Arkansas?" Like, well, it's actually nice. Have you ever been? They're like, "No."
Hey Jimmy,
like,
we've been friends for 2 years. You've not known I'm from Arkansas? No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, well, they do, but they just like, I can't believe you're leaving.
Right.
There are other places other than South Florida, Jimmy.
Yeah.
But no, it's been easy adjustment, really. You just miss the beach a little bit,
Right.
But other than that, I love being back here. It's been good.
So how is it now that you got a baby, man? Like, how is that?
Dude, it's a life changer for sure. It kind of rocks your world a little bit, but in a great way. I love it.
What was your first thought when you found out your wife was pregnant?
So I was coming home. It was October or something, and I was coming home from basketball practice, a long day. Which another reason you get out because you get home at 9:00 at night, and I thought, if I ever once I have kids, I'm not gonna have the energy to come home and be with my family after teaching and then coaching, coming home at 9:00. Another reason I got out of it, but that day when we found out, yes, I got home and my wife, she put a pregnancy test like in an Amazon box, right? The pregnancy test that she took that said she was pregnant, and she was like, "You got a package?" And I was like, "I didn't order anything. What are you talking about?" She's like, "No, you got one. You got something. Go look at it." And I opened up the Amazon box, and it has a pregnancy test. It says like she's pregnant, and I was just like in shock. Because I just like stood there and looked at it like, and I looked at her and I said, "Are you serious?" She was like, "Yeah." I'm like, I just stared at her. I was like, "Are you really?" She's like,
Are
"Yeah."
you sure?
Yeah, I was like, "How many of these did you do? Like, is this verified?" I think you need to do like 3 or 4 of these to make sure. She's like, "I did like multiple." And so it was like we weren't really trying. We were not trying. But, we had talked about, like, hey, we want to do this soon. It happened way sooner than we probably thought. But we were pretty much ready. But it still shocks you that day. You're not, you come home and you're just about to sit down on the couch and,
You think it's about to be a regular Tuesday.
Regular Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Eat some food, go to bed. And then that just kind of, yeah, you're going to be a dad. Wow. And I think I was kind of speechless for about 15 minutes, and then it hit me, and I was like a mess. I just like started crying. I was bawling. I was like, "This is crazy," because it's like, I obviously wanted it to happen. She wanted it to happen, but when the realization comes, it's like, wow, this is
really happening.
This is actually happening. I'm gonna, we're gonna raise a child. We're gonna have a kid. And then it kind of hits you again when you find out gender. It's like, okay, we're going to raise a son. Wow.
Were you wanting a son?
I didn't care. I always thought like, yes, I wanted a boy but once she got pregnant, I was like, whatever, I'll take
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
as long as it's a healthy pregnancy, I have a healthy
Right.
kid. I really don't care, and I really didn't. But it was exciting when I
Yeah.
found out
When
we
he
had a
found out it
boy.
was a boy,
I was
he
excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I definitely wanted at least one boy,
Yeah.
and so now the pressure's kind of off. It's like now I really don't care, and in
Yeah.
fact, I really want a girl too. I want one of each. Um,
How many kids would you like?
I would like two. I would like to have a daughter next and kind of be done.
Close that chapter.
But my wife would probably say three or four. I came from 4 kids, and I get it. It's, I think that's great, but it's a lot on a family, or on parents, and I don't know. I mean, I could do it, but two just kind of I can wrap my brain around it a lot easier. It's like,
Wait.
one of each.
Yeah.
It just seems kind of nice and simple.
I
But-
guess that's to be determined, right?
It's to be determined. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how this goes, and then we'll definitely try to have another one, and
Yeah.
then probably make a decision from there.
So how was it being the youngest out of the 4? At first you said your older brothers definitely gave you a hard time, but throughout growing up,
Yeah.
how was that?
I mean, it was good. I think that being the youngest is beneficial for sure because you get to see all the mistakes that your brothers make, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna do that. That didn't work. That made mom angry."
At least I won't get caught,
Yeah. Here's how to basically. He gave me a roadmap of how to not piss off mom, and how to stay out of trouble. Here's the choices you need to make. It was very clear to me. I got to see all that, and the negative is you don't get any new clothes. I got all hand-me-downs, but it was good. I think it helped me. Like I said, it was beneficial. I learned a lot through them. They were great big brothers.
What was the age difference between you and your oldest brother?
So my oldest brother is 6 years older than me. So my mom basically had 4 boys in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty quick there. My brother that's closest to me is only 15 months older than me. So we're pretty close. We grew up really, really tight. I was tight with everybody, but my next oldest brother, Tyler, we were probably closer because just that age difference, and maybe had a little more in common and stuff with sports and stuff like that. Very competitive.
When your dad passed away, was your oldest brother kind of like I want to say like father figure in type of way between ages 6 to 11?
I think everybody.
Because at this point he was like 12, right?
Yeah, he was 12, I think, when my dad
Yeah,
died.
'cause you
Yeah,
said you were 6.
11 or 12. Yeah, I think he was 12.
Because I'm sure he had to take like mature or like have it like a big step knowing that your dad passed away.
Yeah.
Him being the oldest brother.
Yeah,
help
he
out your
did.
mom, with the youngest ones.
Yeah, and I think my dad kind of had that conversation with him before, because my dad had lung cancer, so he
Okay.
knew.
Oh, so it was like nothing
Yeah,
unexpected. In
No,
a way?
not really. It happened probably quicker than we thought, but it
Right.
was, he was diagnosed, and about a year and a half later, a year later maybe,
Yeah.
he passed. So, but towards the end, I think he knew when he knew it was coming. He kind of had that conversation with my older brother, and I think that he did the best he could with handling that at 12 years old. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
fairly young.
that's hard for a
Yeah,
12-year-old.
You're not
I think
even
it
a
was.
teenager.
Yeah, I mean, and he knew my dad better than the rest of us, right? Because
Yeah.
majority of his life, he spent more time with him, right?
Yeah.
Being 12, so it probably hit him the hardest, and everyone, we've all kind of handled it in different ways. All my brothers, and no one's right or wrong or better at handling it. We're just all different in the way we handled it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that he's handled it great, I think that he was a great big brother for all of us. And I'd say that about all my brothers. I think we all just stuck together.
Yeah.
And we had to, right? And I credit my mom really more than anybody for
holding you
Keeping
together.
you guys
She
together.
was she was the glue basically.
Yeah.
She was, and you know, I don't know how, you know, you think about losing your husband and then you got 4 little boys looking at you. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, that's a tough situation. And we had a lot of, you know, family that helped too, and friends that stepped in. I would say there's a lot of my dad's friends wanted to step in and kind of be that father figure too.
Yeah.
I looked toward to coaches as father figures as well, which is a big reason why I got into coaching. I thought, you know, there's some kids who don't have dads, or maybe their dads aren't around, and it's a great father figure opportunity as well, because it was for me. It's tough. I think every boy growing up has to have that. I think it's just too critical of a time. So you have to find that, I think, and people are out there, you know, that want to help kids in that situation. So I was able to kind of fill that gap a little bit, but it's still not the same. You know, it's not the same as having your dad. That's why I always get kind of angry when I hear, not angry, but I get it's kind of frustrating.
Like it hits a trigger.
Yeah, it's frustrating when people like complain about their dads. You know.
Oh yeah.
When their dads are around and doing
Yeah.
a good, you know, doing the best they can. It's like, yeah, just be grateful you have a dad,
yeah.
right? Because a lot of people don't. And so I just think, it sucks to not have a father, like a permanent, you know, firm father figure. I think it makes a huge difference. But you can, you know, you can persevere through it and find other outlets, and that's what I had to do.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, but what did you use? Because I know, like, a lot of people, like, you know, unfortunately, once they lose their father figure, they, like, almost lose that person who gives them authority, you know, a surety, and just, like, you know, sort of that person they can go to, relate to, and they usually, not all the time, but, you know, sometimes they go to alternate routes, like, you know, maybe going down the wrong path or hanging out with the wrong friends. How was it for you? How'd you do in order for you not to go down that road, or what?
Well, I think you have to stay busy, you know, like stay involved in things. Like I think all kids need to stay busy, right? Kids don't need to just be sitting in their room all night, all day. You know, it's just not healthy. Kids need to stay busy. I tried to stay busy. I was very involved in athletics, and then I was blessed that there was, you know, people that wanted to step in and help out, and, you know, take me and my brothers to lunch, or take us golfing, or, you know, like, you know, just different friends of my dad that wanted to step in and just be at the house and help out. And but also, like I said, my coaches, you know, I think they all were aware of what was going on, and I think I credit a lot of different coaches. I won't name them all, but a lot of different coaches that stepped in and were able to kind of be that male role model. And then I credit my mom too. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, my mom stepped in too to fill that role. And it's different. Your relationship with mom is always different than your dad, but
Right.
I think my mom had to be like more firm,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
as opposed to just like simply the nurturer, right?
Mhm.
Which, you know, moms are great at everything, but I credit my mom for kind of taking a stand and double duty. You know, she had to be mom and dad, and
Right.
she was great at it.
I bet it wasn't easy.
No, she was a hard back in the day,
Yeah.
and no one would know it now.
I don't think she like any room to be soft, you know.
No, she didn't. She
Yeah.
couldn't. She couldn't mess around. And there was a healthy fear there at times. You know?
That's always good.
She even when my dad was around, we always joked like she would spank like a lot harder than he would. Like,
Really?
you know, if he like got us
Yeah.
in the room, it would be like, you know, just a kind of a slap on the wrist, and she'd pull the belt out and, you know, really you know, take us to town there. But no, she was tough, and she had to be, and so I credit her too for kind of filling that role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sounds like if anything, you were able to stay in a community that loved you and, you know, kind of cared for you.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, my school, that was partly why she kept us at the private school at that
Yeah.
Christian. It was a good community of people good people at the time, really good people. And it wasn't worth it for her to, get us out. It was already a change that we were going through with
Yeah.
losing our dad. I think she thought about at one point, like, moving us to, I have family in Russellville, moving us to, like, Russellville and
Yeah.
putting us in public school there. But I don't think she wanted to make us go through any more drastic change.
Yeah.
And so that was very helpful, kind of staying in that community. And, those people, I credit all those teachers and coaches and faculty there that kind of helped raise me a little bit, and my brothers.
So what motivates you now that you're grown and have your own family? That obviously when like you have your family, and I guess that would motivate you. But what else is there anything else?
My family does motivate me. I want to provide for them. I want to be the best I can be as a husband and a father, but also just I want to reach all my potential that's there as an individual and the career that I am in now. And I think eventually I'd like to own my own business. So there's a lot of things I still want to do. I think there's so much out there now, that there's so much opportunity in our country, and so you can kind of do whatever you want. And I haven't quite figured out what that is eventually, but I think that I'm motivated to figure out what it is. But for now, just kind of staying in the moment. I just be where your feet are at. I'm doing the best I can in the role that I'm in now. I'm always just motivated to just do the best I can. I'm always just evaluating myself. Am I doing everything I can? So that's what motivates me.
Yeah, I think the key part that you said, you're trying to reach your full potential, just not staying in one lane. Obviously, you have tried multiple lanes, if anything.
Yeah.
From like coaching and here in Arkansas to moving to Miami, coaching, doing football over there in a big university, then moving again to like a school coaching girls. Now you're back here, so it's like you're always evolving, it seems like, and like now you're at a different stage in your life where I'm sure you're gonna be able to apply all the things you've learned throughout this last couple of years, and I'm sure learn something and apply it to the next phase of your life.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I've done everything I wanted to do up until this point. Like, I've always just been a little bit of a dream chaser. Like, I wanted to work in sports radio, I went and did it. I wanted to coach, went and did it. I wanted to go to college athletics, went and did it. Now I'm at a point where it's like, did I always want to work at a car wash? No, that wasn't like a dream growing up. But the opportunity came to me, and now it's like, it's been a little bit of a identity change. It's like, but now I'm figuring out, like, how can I be the best I can be at this? And then what's the long-term goal? Well, I'm not really sure, but I know that I want to just be present, be where my feet are at, and it'll kind of take care of itself, I believe. Am I thinking about other things I could do eventually with opening a business? Yeah, and that hasn't come to me. But, for now, I just know I'm learning about things I never knew about in business and management, and, this is a lot different than anything I've ever done. So right now I'm just like in learning mode,
Yeah, and what I like about like what you said about sharing your story so far, that you are a dream chaser, and then you're willing to sacrifice to follow your dreams. Because a lot of people out here, they're talking big game, but no one's willing to sacrifice. Like if the cash is not there, they're not gonna go out their way just to cut down on a meal a day, or whatever they have to do. Like you said, you wanted to be a sports radio. You got your first job. Obviously, it wasn't a lot, but you were happy and content. Then you were making I guess good money, or you were making money at school here in Arkansas and Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Then just for chasing a dream, being an athletic director, you went and took a massive pay cut, which a lot of people are not willing to do that. And that's like you have to take credit for that, because I feel like sometimes we're surrounded by people who are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then they're a bunch of want to do it, but they don't do it. They don't put the time, they don't put the effort, they don't, because it takes a lot of time, effort, dedication, and money. So I think you definitely have some key ingredients to eventually become successful, and obviously with the right mindset, which you have of like learning and being humble, which is it's huge. Like you said, like you go from being the head coach at a high school basketball team to like working on a car wash, not dogging on Splash, because obviously
Yeah.
they're a
It
good
takes some
company.
humility.
Yeah,
to
it like it takes some humility, and you're like learning and maturity too.
It's
so
not sexy, to say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not coaching anymore. I'm gonna work at a car wash.
Yeah.
It took a little bit of I'm still learning kind of how to tell people that.
He's still thinking about it.
How to explain it. It's not like I really care. Obviously, I did it, so I made that jump.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do I really tell people? How do I make it make sense
Yeah.
to people? Learning how to do that, which I don't really care what people think. I've never. The other thing about that, and I appreciate you saying that, but I think the thing that I would tell people, and for me, it was never about money. I never let money be a driving factor. It was more of, what am I good at? Like, where can I be best, like, maximized? And then just, like, what's my, like, passion, right? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
like, someone who's always just done what they're passionate about. And, it's was moving over to Splash, it was I can do the same things in coaching, like I was saying earlier, investing in people, growing people. I can do the same things. That's why I did this. So it's like, no, don't chase money. I've taken, actually, when I left sports radio to go into coaching, I took a cut initially.
Yeah.
That first job at Providence, I was like, I didn't have my teaching degree just yet, my master's, so I was like basically a glorified janitor, basically. They called me what'd they call me? I was a like a maintenance something.
Oh, your title?
I basically was like putting up the lunch tables and like cleaning the floor, like the gym floor and stuff. And but I got to coach. I was like, I get to coach. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever. And then didn't make any money at all. But I took a cut there, and then took a cut when I went to Miami. It's never been about money is the point. I just think the money will take care of itself. If you're chasing your passion, within reason. It's like, there's some people that all they want to do is, paint, and maybe that's never going to really pay off, but
right.
Maybe it will for some people.
Unless you're a great painter.
Yeah, unless you're just a dominant painter, right? Unless you're just really good.
But I think you were chasing happiness at that moment.
Yeah,
and being fulfilling what you wanted to do.
Right.
Obviously, I think first of all, I guess what I was trying to say, like, if you're gonna follow your dreams, just know it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be all like rainbows and butterflies.
No.
It's gonna take some hard sacrifice, whether it's money, mentally, emotionally, whatever. But if that makes you happy, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But at the end of the day, too, if it doesn't work out, then just move on. Kind of like, I've like, there's plenty of dreams of mine that I've like left frustrated. But I've been able to learn and take away from that and just apply it to the next phase in life.
That's right.
You get experience from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to bed every night thinking like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that's all you need. I mean, the money, you have to have money in life. I mean, but it'll come. I believe it'll come if you work hard.
Exactly.
And you're in, the process. You trust the process, right?
Yeah. Stay patient.
Yeah, it'll. I think it pays off eventually, within reason. But, yeah, I think chasing your passion is not something that everybody does. I feel like it's something
the whole like life experience and everything that you've gone through. What would be something that has inspired you in your life?
That inspired me.
Like, it could be someone or something that you've heard, or just something that's always stuck with you.
I think that's something, like, going back to my dad, I think my dad inspires me every day because he was, like, just such a good person. like he left such a amazing legacy. So I'm always kind of not really comparing myself to him, but I want to leave that same legacy, for my kids and for everyone that I meet. Like I'm not near as good of a person as he was, but I kind of strive to be. It's like he's a constant reminder of a good example of how to live. So he's a constant inspiration for me. Yeah, something I think about him every day. I think that's something I would advise people to do too. That lose a family member, or a dad or mom, whatever. Is some people try to put it off, right? Not think about it. It hurts too much. I think that you have to do the opposite to deal with it. I think you have to talk about it, think about them, like talk about it out loud. Like me talking to you guys about it, I think is healthy, instead of hiding it and putting it away, and then it just kind of builds up, right? And that's where people who lose moms and dads, sometimes they don't end up well, and because it's just such a burden, right? I think that my advice to those people would be, as someone who deals with it every day, is to talk about it all the time. Talk about it with your family. Be open about it.
Yeah.
That's the only way you get through it, I think, in a healthy way, is to be open about it and let it be an inspiration. Like I said, my dad's an inspiration for me. And that's partly because he was just such a good person and a phenomenal human being. So he's someone that I'm inspired by every day.
That's good to hear, because we almost grew up without a dad. Our dad had a really bad car accident when we were very, very young.
Yeah, I was like 10, 11.
I was like
So you were like
5, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And my dad broke his hip, so his whole hip was completely shattered.
Wow.
So they were in a little car, and the car went under an 18-wheeler. So it's a miracle that our dad's pretty much still alive.
Yeah.
So that's
it's a good reminder of how quickly it can be taken. So it's it's like I was saying earlier. Be grateful that you have a dad, right?
Yeah, for sure.
When people,
100%,
I couldn't see my life without my dad on it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think God saved my dad for a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because probably our lives are, I know, me knowing me, who knows where I would be at this.
Well, you know how important a role your dad played in your
Yeah.
upbringing, right?
Right.
Or we probably wouldn't even be in America right now if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, your story could have completely changed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's be grateful, It's, I understand not everybody's relationship with their dad is perfect.
Right.
People get frustrated with their parents. I get frustrated with my mom still, know. But at the end of the day, you got to think, my dad, my dad's alive, and he's done so much for me that, so there's some people that didn't have that. It's just be grateful. It just opens
your eyes. Or maybe
your
it's
eyes.
just not your dad, but someone who really meant a lot in your life. Maybe for I guess for you, so your dad. For us, is our dad. I guess for whoever is listening, it may be an aunt, an uncle, or a grandpa, who basically grew up. They grew up with that person, and that person basically raised them and just took the time and sacrifice. Because sometimes we can say love your family, but family can mean a different thing for different people. It can be like your best friend. It can be someone you met in elementary or whatever.
No doubt.
So
just be grateful to the people that are in your life, because you never know. You don't know people's timeline in life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody has an expiration date. We don't know when it is. You just have to. That's why you just cherish every moment that you have with people, right? You never want to leave. What do they say? You never want to leave angry with someone, right? You always want to end on good terms.
Right.
When you say goodbye to someone, you don't want to hold a grudge, and it happens, people do, I'm not perfect, I hope to leave every situation on good terms with people. I think, that stuff makes, when you lose somebody, it makes you kind of take a step back and think, how am I treating people? What evaluate all your relationships. Am I on good terms with everybody that I know?
Yeah.
If not, let's fix it.
Right.
Because you don't want to have any regrets if you lose someone, right? So I think the other person that inspires me is my wife. I think she's like, for me, like I have to being a good husband to her. You have to be a good husband before you're a good father, in my opinion. So before I can even think about the father I had and how to be a good dad, I had to be that good husband, and she inspires me daily to do that. So I didn't want to leave her out in that question. I just thought about that. Because she definitely, I do think you have to be a good husband before you can be a good father. I think that's kind of the process there.
No, right. And like something like
you have to be an example to your kids of how to
yeah,
be.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, I mean, your kids, they're gonna live your house, and at the end of the day, it's just gonna be you and her.
Yeah.
Once they're gone.
Well, and they're watching. How do you treat? They're watching.
Yeah.
How does dad treat mom? How does mom treat dad? What's their relationship like? How do they talk to each other? How do they act? That's how, kids. I think that they learn with their eyes.
Right.
More than you can say whatever you want to them. You can teach them whatever, but at the end of the day, it's like, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, for sure.
So how does dad act? How does mom act? So that's a constant. As my boy grows older and we have more kids, you got some eyeballs looking at you. So there's more pressure. There's some accountability there. So you gotta. That inspires me as well, is to be that really good husband.
And I guess the same question, I guess now the opposite from what inspires you to like what scares you.
What scares me is I don't know if scares is the right word. I just not doing those things, like not being able to succeed as a father or husband. It doesn't scare me because I know I can do it if I stay the course here, and stay faithful and keep my faith with the Lord, and I think that takes care of itself. So what scares me, I don't know. It sounds weird. I don't know if there's anything that really scares me.
Yeah.
I'm not. We talk about being humble and stuff, but I don't know if there's anything that scares me.
No, right.
I'm not really scared because I know that that God's on my side here, and I have a good life. I'm grateful. So I'm not scared. I think that I can avoid being scared by just doing the right things, being a good person, working hard, and doing the best I can.
Yeah, that's
What scares y'all?
I guess for me, a lot. No, I'm just kidding. Well, first of all, I never thought about what you said. Like, you can avoid being scared by just doing the right things, But I guess, like, in a way, earlier you said, like, reaching your potential. That scares me, not being able to reach my full potential.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I guess one of the big, since we're already in this subject, sort of, like, my biggest fear in life is losing the people who are close to me, like my father, my mom, my brother, like my support system. Because I feel like I've gone through life with them so far, then all the battles we've fought has been together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to lose them, I'm not sure where I would be. So, like, in everything I do, they've always supported me, like, big, small, they've always been there for me. And I guess, and then I guess just losing hope. But the way you don't do that is just by doing what you're supposed to do, like, having a relationship with God, with Jesus.
I think that takes care of it, right?
Yeah,
Like if you believe, like, for me, like, handling death with my dad and then handling anything, it's actually how I became a Christian, was when after my dad, or actually it was when he was sick and I knew he was about to die. I thought, where's he going after he dies? And, basically as a 5-year-old when I became a Christian and I asked Jesus to come to my heart, I asked my mom, "Where's Dad going when he dies?"
Yeah.
He's going to heaven. He's a believer. And I was like, well, that's where I want to go. How do I do that? And that's how I be. But, obviously it developed. It
Right.
developed
Yeah.
from there. But I think that, the Romans 8:28, it says, and we know that God does all things for the good, for those who love him, those who are called according to his purpose. That's kind of what it comes back to me as not being scared, to lose people. Like, I think that God, everything's done for a reason. I don't think he doesn't let accidents happen like that. So you just have to. I trust God. I trust His plan. So I'm not scared. I guess I'm scared to fail. In a way, I hate failing. I hate losing.
Right.
But it's inevitable.
Right. Yeah.
Too. It's like it's
You
going.
just have to accept what's happening in life.
Yeah, I mean, you're not scared of it because it's inevitable. It's going to happen, and it's how you deal with it, obviously, right? So if anything, I would say I'm scared to fail, but I know that it's gonna. Whenever that does, those moments do happen, it's a time to bounce back. It's a time to learn from it, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, you just, I trust in the Lord.
Yeah, and that's something I'm learning. It's like, okay, not my timing and God's timing.
That's right.
And it's like maybe it didn't work out.
He's in
this
control.
Time. Yeah, and didn't work out this time because He's probably trying to teach me a lesson in my character, my humility, or whatever it is, that I need to be taught, and maybe I need to go through. And I guess just I'm a big wuss if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through hard times. Okay.
Yeah. No, I get it.
if we're being honest, I don't want to go through hard times and just because I've seen people doing the right thing, thinking what they're doing was the right thing, and then boom, something big happens. Obviously, that happened for the better, but at that time, it was hard to see it that way.
Yeah, you can't explain it at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of things that are like, how does God let this happen?
Yeah, but at the same time,
how are you gonna grow if you don't go through
exactly?
hard times?
That was my next point. I was like, how am I gonna grow?
Yeah.
How are you gonna grow as a human if you're always comfortable in every scenario you're at?
And usually you look back on it in a few years and you think that makes sense. I understand why God put me in that situation.
Right. Yeah.
Look where I'm at now because of that. Usually you get better from hard times, right?
Right.
Well, it doesn't kill you.
At least you try to get better.
Yeah.
You try.
Right.
Kelly Clarkson, what did she say?
What doesn't kill you make you stronger?
That's right. You like that? I know Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good. You guys got anything else for me?
No, I don't.
I feel like I talked way too much.
No,
Nah,
yeah,
dude,
it's
you did
amazing.
good.
I had a good time.
I had a good time too. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. As long as you enjoyed it, we enjoyed it. I hope
That's
our
all that
listeners.
matters, man.
Am I officially on the wall of friends?
You're
You're
one- yeah,
officially
100%.
on the wall.
This is exciting.
Anything else? Anything else you want to say to our listeners before we, I guess in related to persons who have, I guess you already talked about this, but someone who's already lost someone who's close to them, or someone who's trying to pursue their dream or passion.
Yeah. I think I touched on it a little bit throughout, but I think just to summarize, persevere. I think perseverance is huge. Chase your passion, man. Chase your dreams. Do what you love. And then, just handle tough situations by, I think having faith is the best answer, to handle situations. Having faith in Jesus, but knowing that, you can get better from hard times. You can grow, and always looking for opportunities to do that. But I think, ultimately it is about having that faith that, like we just said here at the end, God does all things for the good. So having that faith and, chase your dreams.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate you being on it, bro.
Yeah,
Definitely
we really
had a
do.
lot
Thank
of
you
good
for
time.
yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
If anyone related to you and would want to maybe get in contact with you, what would be the best way to get in contact with you? to like seek
Whether it's
advice.
like email or like
Yeah, they can-
Instagram or Facebook.
I have Instagram. I have Facebook. I don't know if I want to like give out my phone number on the podcast.
Nah,
No.
If not, we just put it on the
Your
description,
Instagram's
you
okay.
know?
I
Yeah.
guess to be honest, I don't think a lot of people do. I've actually, I mean, I think some have reached out to like our and it's mainly just like the close friends who listen to it.
You can reach out to my Instagram.
Yes.
What is my Instagram handle? I think it's Seth_Weddle. I think. Hold on a second. It is Seth_Weddle.
All right.
Seth_Weddle. WEDDLE. Feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, for those who are wanting to reach out to him, we're gonna type it down in the description below so you can see it. And thank you so much for coming out here.
Thank you guys.
It meant a lot. I had a good time.
It was fun.
Yeah, I had a
Fun.
blast, man. Wall of
Yeah.
Friends, you guys keep it up, man. You got a good thing going here.
Well,
Appreciate
appreciate
it,
that.
I'm a fan of the show. I think I'm subscribed. If I'm not, I will subscribe right
Well,
now.
thank you.
I think I am though.
With that being said, you guys can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And hopefully you guys are liking what we're putting out and enjoying it. And because at the end of the day, we just want to grow a community where you can, reach out to one another, maybe build a,
Build
Be a
little
bridge.
family.
yeah,
You know?
build a community where everyone can help each other out. We're just one connection away from, maybe the next big thing. Who knows?
I love it.
All right,
Wall of Friends.
Wall of Friends, baby.
with that being
Good thing.
said, see you next Monday.